the song with your heart. Play the song with your heart.
What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today to discuss the events in the sports world. A lot of things has transpired despite the fact that the NBA is in the off season and the NFL is finally in training camp. So, and then there was other stuff. You know, if you've been on Twitter, if you've been watching the news, you'll know what's been going on. But anywho, let's start it off with Team USA narrowly beating South Sudan. 1-point victory. Who would have thought? South Sudan. They got my boy Wayne Gabriel, Kentucky alum, former Laker, and that's all I can remember. Everybody else I ain't never heard
JT
of.
Thor.
Who the hell is that? I have no clue. But anywho, yeah, man, they nearly lost. 1-point victory. It took LeBron James, age 39, to carry them to victory. Also, Anthony Davis as well. You know, he had to pitch in, do his thing. But it was LeBron James. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's King James to come through in the clutch. And boy, oh boy, to all those people that were saying LeBron, you know, he's too old. LeBron, he's still not that guy. LeBron, he not even a top 10 player. Boy, oh boy, you look stupid right now. Because what LeBron James did in that second half, when the team was down by double digits to South Sudan, you need to get slapped in the face if you thought LeBron James was cooked food. Because we all know, if you watch basketball, LeBron James isn't just a vintage player. Like when he does something great, it's not vintage because he's still good. He's still a top 10 player and he's still an all-NBA player. So for people to disrespect LeBron like that, shame on you. But overall, what was your reaction to just Team USA narrowly beating South Sudan? And then also LeBron James hitting the last shot to prevail Team USA to victory.
As far as thoughts about the game itself, I'm gonna be honest. I did not watch. I didn't even know what channel it came on. I was looking for it. I waited. It took me to like the fourth quarter to find what channel it was on, and so I caught like the last second game. I was like, okay, LeBron, I see you. But as far as the game goes, I mean, some teams sometimes you just have people show up to play. You know what I'm saying? It's not these teams around the world ain't pushovers now because. You know, European ball, overseas ball is really starting to be more prevalent systems nowadays compared to the AAU style ball the USA likes to play. And this is also another testament of Steve Kerr is just he might have lost it. He might have lost it as far as coaching because some adjustments and lineups he's putting out there, like buddy. I don't know what you got going. I don't know why Spo wasn't the coach in the first place, in my opinion. Eric Spoelstra should have been the head coach. I don't know what Nike is thinking or why they went with Kerr, but hey, that's a whole different story. But as far as LeBron taking over at when things got hairy, I mean he is the vet. He's been in the league the longest on the team, and he had the highest peak out of everybody on that team. So, I mean, it would make sense for him. He still got it. I don't care if he's 39, 38, 40. He still got it. In year 21, he still can. Just can't get rid of this guy. We can't get rid of him. He's just there. He's inevitable. And this dude playing like he still got 4 more years left in the tank. And I'm just like, man, LeBron James.
James.
You can't do much about it.
Yeah, man.
Also, Embiid.
Yeah, Embiid.
Yeah, buddy. I don't think you built for Team USA ball. I don't think he just blends well with the roster. Personally, it just something seems off when he's on the court, and I'm not too sure what it is.
He's hurt.
Yeah, that could be too.
No,
But still, it's
he's
just when
hurt.
he's on the court, it's like, ugh.
You can
If he
tell he
gets
hasn't
some,
played basketball in a minute.
he needs to get it together
He's
because
not well. I mean, he
the
did score
qualifiers start
14.
soon, don't they?
I mean, we're gonna get to the Olympics. The Olympics pretty much starts on either the 26th or the 27th, which is around the time Deadpool comes out. Oh my god, I can't wait. That's gonna be such a great time. But yeah, so like I think the ceremony is on the 26th, and then we start to really get it going in the 27th. Yeah, but Joel Embiid, I mean, yeah, he had 14, but when it mattered most, what did he do? Nothing. His defense was awful. He's just playing hurt, and I appreciate him for trying to thug it out and play through the injury because we need another big. We need another dominant big in the rotation because you can't just rely on Anthony Davis, Lakers, because as you see with these teams, they're big and they want to attack the basket, and that's been the USA's Achilles heel for over 10 years. It's just the fact that teams feel like they can attack the basket on them, and they don't have no great rim protection. So with Embiid, we thought that he could provide that, but he just hasn't so far. I just think I don't I don't know why Steve Kerr keeps starting him. I guess it's because he doesn't want to mess with his confidence, and maybe there was like some secret deal, handshake deal that okay, we're gonna start Joel Embiid and we'll let Anthony Davis come off the bench. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not, as a Lakers fan, I'm not too mad because I'd rather save AD from potentially getting injured over a Joel Embiid. But Anthony Davis played more minutes than Joel Embiid anyway, so it's like, I mean, yeah, Joel Embiid started, but Anthony Davis played more minutes than him, so does it really matter as much? Anywho, yeah, man, this game was. I ain't gonna lie. I watched the second half. I didn't watch the first half. I didn't start watching the game until somebody posted the score of the game in the group chat. I was like, they losing by over
Mm-hmm.
over
It was
10
like
points.
14 points or something at one point.
I was like, oh, let me lock in. Let me lock in the second half. So that's when I started watching it. So don't feel
I mean,
like
the
you
before the
were
game, the spread was what, 49 points or 44 points?
yeah. So don't don't feel like you the only person that ain't do it, because I did it too. I watched the second half, I watched the third and fourth quarter because I wanted to see like, all right, how do they respond from this? And they responded. They almost lost, but never, honestly, even though they were down, I never felt that they were going to lose because
Mm.
they have LeBron James, they have Stephen Curry, they have Anthony Davis, they have Anthony Edwards. Like, I never felt they were going to lose. And when LeBron hit that shot, matter of fact, when they were down one and they were coming down the court, I was like, they're going to score. Like, no matter what, they're going to score. And LeBron James, what did he do? Normally in the NBA, he would settle for a three, step back three, yada, yada, yada. But this time, for whatever reason, the other team just allowed LeBron to play one-on-one, and he drove to the lane for a layup. That normally doesn't happen, but he was able to do it this game, and he won them the game. He was the reason they won. 10 for 14 from the field, 8 for 11 from 2-point, 2 for 3 from 3-point range. Like, come on, man. Come on. That's sensational. 25 points. The dude was everywhere. 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Easily the best player in the court. And also, by the way, did you know that LeBron and Anthony Davis are 2 of the top 5 when it comes to total points so far in these exhibition games for Team USA? Anthony
Yeah, I
Davis
saw
and
it.
LeBron James. Ain't that something? You know, there was people that said, "Oh, you know, Anthony Davis and LeBron James duo, they can't win a championship. They're not as good anymore." Hey, Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss, do you see what's going on right here? Do you see how much you've screwed up the Lakers? Because you have these two players on your team and they are in top 5 in total points in all of the Team USA players, and you screwed it up. And LeBron, he's leading the team in assists. Wow, ain't that something? And he's the what is he? The small forward, and he's
Mhm.
leading the team in assists. You can't make this up. Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, they really screwed up the Lakers because these two guys are still playing peak basketball, and the fact that you can't surround these two guys with elite level talent, hey man, it gets to a point where I don't know what to do with myself. Like I don't know what to do with myself. Let's transition. I want to talk about Bronny James. There was a lot of chatter. There was a lot of haters out there talking a lot of trash about Bronny James, bringing up nepotism, bringing up he shouldn't have been drafted at the end of the second round, bringing up all of these different things to attack LeBron James and to attack Bronny James. He has 0 points, even though the number 2 pick in the NBA draft dropped 0 points in one game and dropped 2 points in the other. I know I had to put salt in. I had to put salt in the wound, Brian. I'm sorry about that, but I have to make my point. I have to make my point. Sorry. I'm sacrificing
Understandable.
your
Understandable.
joy in order to make my points. And it's summer league, and after Jaylen Brown made that comment on the sideline where he's saying he's not an NBA player, what does he do? He does what a son of LeBron James normally does. He responds by playing well. And the final 2 games that he played, he was 10 for 21 shooting, and he scored 25 points. He can't hit a 3-point shot. He was 3 for 8 from 3-point range after starting 0 for 15. Sounds good to me. The last 2 games, he responded. He played well. He played good defense. And now he can go to the G League and he can develop. This is a developmental prospect. This was never a guy that was going to come out of the gate looking like scoring 20. Like that was just not the case. And for people to take so many jabs, so many shots at LeBron, talking about he's abusing his power, talking about all this other stuff, is egregious. He just made his son a millionaire and got him drafted to the Lakers, and he was the 55th pick in the NBA draft. And you guys are crying about something that you shouldn't even be crying about. You're crying about a summer league game. You're crying about all this stupid politics stuff because you have nothing else to talk about. So you're gonna take jabs at LeBron James. It just shows people's true colors. It just shows their hate for LeBron James. I know I sound like I'm glazing right now, but it's just the truth. I speak the truth. It is what it is. Where what was your reaction to just first of all the chatter regarding Bronny James and his struggles from summer league, and then all of a sudden bouncing back and playing well his final 2 games?
As far as the struggles, I mean, I wasn't too surprised. I said his I didn't really think his game would translate in the NBA at first, like day
Mm-hmm.
one, very well, and there was going to be some struggles and growing pains as getting accustomed to the game and the speed of the game. And of course, as granted, he did play horrible on the offensive end, but I mean, I'm not surprised he got it together the last 2 games. You say he was 10 for 21
Yeah, 10 for
shooting.
21 from the field.
That's not bad over the span of 2 games. It's around a little under 50%, and 3 for 8 from three. Okay, he was 1 off from being 50% from 3. So, and you say he was playing good defense. I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised. And and funny, I didn't even know he had good games because you only see the post on social media when he has the bad games. So I didn't even see those numbers that you just mentioned right there, because only time I ever see Bronny highlights or post game stats is when he does terrible. So that should let you know. everything you need to know about how goofy this whole discourse is. And like you said, he was the 55th overall pick. Why do
Mhm.
people care so much? Obviously because it's LeBron, and they say he pulled strings to get him into the league. But like, what was stopping him from going undrafted and just signing with the Lakers anyway? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
like, I think he's just arguing over semantics. It's really silly at the end of the day. Let the young man go out there and play basketball. Man. It is what it is. He's not going to be playing for the Lakers day one. Stop. Let's not be delusional here. He's going to the G League. He's going to get some development. It may be in a year they call him.
Yeah. Yeah. I do wish they would have played him. A lot of them played more point guard. He was more of a like combo, more like a shooting guard than a point guard. I wanted him to play more point guard, try to see if he can orchestrate the offense. You wanna have him work on his game, work on the things that he's going to need to be developed in order to play on the court on an NBA court. So for them to not run point guard, I felt like that was a missed opportunity. But maybe they might do that in the G League. We'll have to see. Hopefully he improves on that, and that comes with development. That comes with time, and we just gonna have to wait and see. And I feel like this whole nonsense, this whole storyline regarding Bronny James, it's gonna die down. I mean, by the time we get to the NFL season, by the time we get to the NBA season, like all this stuff, people are gonna not talk about it at all. They might have one segment on it. If Bronny James either plays really well in G League or he struggles in the G League, they might have one segment on it, one quick segment on it. And then we're gonna move on to the NFL. We're gonna move on to the NBA games. Because that's how it really goes. So all these people crying right now, by the time we get to September, October, and November, it's going to die down, and people are going to forget about Bronny James. So I ain't really tripping about it. Let's transition to let's go to the NFL. Yeah, let's go to the NFL. So
Man, oh man.
as we all know, training camp has officially started. Some teams have not started training camp yet. I think the 23rd, every NFL team will have started training camp, but some teams had already started. The Green Bay Packers are one of them. And since we're getting close to NFL games, I want to talk about the top 5 storylines entering the NFL season. I'll give you my list. Brian, you'll give your list. I'm going to start it off.
Okay.
So, number one for me, I gotta go with the Bears. I have to go with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, we already know the hype around him being compared to
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, coming from USC, being the number one overall pick. You know, scouts calling him a generational talent. All the buzz about him. They surround him with just an amazing receiving core. Keenan Allen. You already had DJ Moore. You drafted the wide
Rome.
receiver after, Rome Odunze, the wide receiver out of Washington, who was regarded as a top 3 wide receiver, and in most drafts, he'd probably be the number 1 receiver. So he has a very talented group. They upgraded the offensive line. The defense is a little bit better. So I think the Bear. Oh yeah, and also Hard Knocks as well. They're on Hard Knocks. So the
Oh, they
number
are.
one storyline to me has to be the Chicago Bears because just the uncertainty, and the Bears have never done well when it comes to developing a quarterback. And can Caleb Williams finally just put an end to that narrative about the Bears developing quarterbacks? Number two, I got to go with the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels. And I could say the same thing with the Commanders and just the fact that they, in terms of their franchise's history, have not developed quarterbacks on an elite level. Kirk Cousins, he was okay, but besides that, who do you got? I mean, you had 1 year with RG3, and then you got to go all the way back to Joe Theismann to really find a great quarterback in franchise history. So with this team, I'm looking at Jaden Daniels, and uh, you could say it's a lot of buzz and hype surrounding him. I've heard a lot of scouts, a lot of NFL analysts have been proclaiming Jaden Daniels is possibly the best prospect in the NFL draft. So I can't wait to see the Commanders and how Jaden Daniels sort of deals with all the attention, because we saw with RG3, he had that one great year, and then the next year, he was cooked food. Can Jaden Daniels be the opposite of RG3, where not only does he have a great rookie year, but he actually has a great long-term career with the Commanders? That's going to be a great storyline to see. And then you look at the NFC East, I feel like the Commanders could really make some buzz depending on how their quarterback develops. So that's another storyline I'm excited to see. Let's go to number 3 on the list. I'm going to go with the New York Jets. You thought we forgot about y'all? Just, last year you had Hard Knocks. You thought we forgot? Nah, we haven't forgot. Here's the deal. Aaron Rodgers, it's very plain and simple. You go out there and you trade for Hassan Reddick. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on with him. You trade for all these players. You draft Malachi Corley in the 3rd round, who's a solid. He's a solid pick for them. Good wide receiver. A lot of scouts had him projected in like the 2nd round. You upgraded the offensive line with Trent Williams, and you drafted one of the better offensive linemen.
You mean
in the
Tyron Smith?
NFL draft. I said, what did I say?
You said Trent Williams.
Trent Williams. Oh my God. Anywho, you upgraded the offensive line. You finally went away from that just tragic offensive line from previous years. Mekhi Becton is an example. He was absolutely horrible. And then you also, you still got a solid receiving core. You still got Breece Hall. So you have some pieces at your disposal. It's just Aaron Rodgers at the end of the day. Will Aaron Rodgers come to play, or will he be washed up? Will the offensive coordinator finally dial up something good, or is he going to continue to be trash? So
is Hackett still there, or they got rid of him?
Yeah, he's still there, man. Like, he's still there. But there was reports that they were trying to move him and replace him for somebody else. I think what's his name? Arthur Smith. They were thinking about replacing him with Arthur Smith or somebody else.
Replacing trash with poop.
Hey, Arthur Smith is better than Nathaniel Hackett. But anywho, we'll see. They have all the talent in the world. They have one of the best rosters in the NFL. But can they put it together? Can the coaching staff, can they really get these players to buy in? Can Aaron Rodgers stop being distracted by other things and really lock into this football team? And can he be the same Aaron Rodgers that we saw in Green Bay? Not the last year, but the years before that. I don't know. There's so many question marks, and that's why this is a great storyline. It's not just the talent, but it's the questions surrounding it. We don't know if they're going to be good or not. And that's why it's a great storyline. Number 4 on my list, the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love. So here's the deal. Now, I say the Green Bay Packers because are we looking at the next superstar QB in Jordan Love? Are we looking at the next great team in the Packers? Because last year we saw they were the youngest team in the NFL. They make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They play well against San Francisco up to the end. They were actually up in the game at one point. But then ultimately the youth started kicking in and San Francisco was able to prevail. Are we looking at the next great team, or are we looking at a one-hit wonder in Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers? I don't know, but we'll see. This is my 4th best storyline. The number 5, I want to go to the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud. Same thing with Jordan Love and the Packers. Are we looking at the next big superstar? Are we looking at the next superstar quarterback that can rival Patrick Mahomes? I don't know. But the way he was looking in year one, man, it's going to be scary what he looks like in year two when you add Stephon Diggs to the equation. And then you add a solid running back to the equation. Are the Houston Texans building a championship team? Is this finally the year that they get over the hump and they're the team that can rival the Kansas City Chiefs? Not the Baltimore Ravens, not the Buffalo Bills, not the Cincinnati Bengals, not the Miami Dolphins, not all of these other teams. Are the Houston Texans the team that can knock off the Kansas City Chiefs? They got the potential. I mean, they have the offense. They have the quarterback. They have the offensive. They have the coaches. Hey, you never know. That's why I have them at number 5. That is my top 5 storylines for the 2024 NFL season. What is yours, Brian?
Very interesting. Very interesting. I actually like those picks. For the most part. And I see the NFL Cup. I might need to give me one of them. But for mine, I'm gonna go a little different. I think I'm gonna have about. My list is gonna be pretty different. There's still some similar things that are pretty different. My number one off-season storylines going into the season. You know I got to do it. It's going to be the Cowboys. It has to be the Cowboys with all the drama surrounding contracts. Is Dak getting paid? Is CD getting paid? CD ain't showing up. He ain't doing a liquor practice until he gets his money. Dak, he's showing up, but he still wants his money at the end of the day. And I even heard recently about possible trade rumors about possibly, I don't know. I'm not going to say this is a verified source. I'm not going to say possibly trading Micah. People just throwing the idea out there. I don't know where it came from, but I heard it in the street somewhere. So, and yeah, man, it's just a whole fiasco. It's always the Cowboys every single year. You can't hear nothing, can't listen to any NFL media without hearing the name Cowboys be brought up because they just move the needle. And it's something every single year. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have been oddly quiet the past month or so. I don't know what that's all about. They better be getting some contracts negotiated or something. Because if we go into the season without CeeDee Lamb, we're cooked. And I like Brandon Cooks, but he ain't no number one receiver, not in big 2024. So, yeah. And then offensive line issues. They talk about possibly sitting Tyler Guyton for a full year. Why would you draft a lineman in the first round if you have to sit him the entire season? Anywho, forget the Cowboys. I'm sick of them. My number 2 storyline is actually going to be the 49ers. And I say the 49ers because the whole Brandon Ayuk situation. He allegedly requested a trade. The 49ers like, look, dude, we're not trading you. And he's trying to force his way to play with Jaden Daniels over in Washington. And people are like, bro, just give it a rest. They're not trading you. But they also did draft Ricky Purcell. I think that's how you say his name. Excuse me. In the early second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in the early second round.
Actually,
it was the first. It was late
round.
first.
Yeah, late first.
Okay, drafted him in late first.
Pick.
Okay, drafted him in the late first. People were saying, oh, Debo could be moved, but then 49ers said, we're not getting rid of Debo. Now it's like, oh, Ayuk wants to leave now because of money issues. And I'm not too sure where all the money is going at San Francisco on the offensive side of the ball. I know Trent Williams got his money, getting his money. CMC, obviously. Debo got paid, which I think was something else. But I don't know what Kittle's making. But if Brandon Ayuk is your number one receiver threat, pay him. I'm confused. I don't understand. And so, yeah, I'm going to say 49ers, and plus they coming off a Super Bowl loss. Can they get back to the Super Bowl? Can they make another deep playoff run? Is Brock Purdy magic still going to uphold for year 3? And these are all important things we need to know. Everybody pretty much assuming the Chiefs will be fine because they got Pat Mahomes. And now they got him a freaking deep threat in Xavier Worthy. We all seen the practice clip. He rolled to his left, turned his hips, threw the ball cross body. up the seam, and it was an easy complete. I was like, oh my gosh, we can't get rid of this guy. We can't get rid of him.
No.
But yeah, man, that's my number two. Number three, I'm gonna go with number three. I'm gonna go, here's what I'm gonna do for number three. It's not just going to be one thing because this list would be dominated by one division. I'm gonna go with the NFC East for number three because there's so many different things going around with the NFC East. You know, you got the Giants hard knocks. You see the offseason hard knocks. You see how they handling player negotiations, and the Giants fans are like, what is our front office doing? And you know the it's really putting a spotlight on how these orgs are ran and what goes on in the off season. And it's the Giants fans are definitely keeping a close eye. They looking at the ownership like, look, you stuck with your man Daniel Jones. You gave him all that money, and we had to get rid of some players to keep for just because of this guy. You went to draft Malik Neighbors, and you better make something happen. And the fans are, I think they're ready to revolt at this point. They see the Knicks making moves. They're looking at the Giants like, well, what y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
And basketball season ain't for a few more months. So good luck, Giants fans. And also the Commanders. The Commanders, obviously, Jaden Daniels, new head coach Dan Quinn. Now it's being reported that the ownership for the Commanders, that Dan Quinn was their first choice.
Okay.
I was born that night, not
That's
last
cap.
night. You ain't
That's
fooling
cap.
me. Yeah, come on
That's
now.
cap.
Let's not. You know, you got Dan Quinn. You got a whole new coach staff. You got Cliff Kingsbury on the team. You got all these. You got some players. Joe Witt from the Cowboys. And like you said, the Commanders haven't had a elite QB in decades. And that's saying something. So this is really going to show you how much Adam Peters and company really built this roster up over the offseason. And if they don't see marginal improvements, you kind of count year one as a failure, in my opinion. But hey, that's going to be the NFC is going to be very interesting because as far as I see, I'm not seeing a clear cut winner. I know it's easy to say, oh, the Eagles, but I'm about to get into them momentarily. I know it's easy to say, oh, the Eagles, they got it. They got the best roster, Jalen Hurts. But now let's get to the Eagles. Reports recently saying that Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts still butting heads. The relationship needed work, apparently. And it is year 4, I believe, of Nick Sirianni being the head coach, and it's still having issues with the head coach. And that's usually not a good recipe for success, in my opinion. And then they come in with a new offensive coordinator and Kellen Moore, whose offensive philosophy is the QB is going to have to do a lot of QBing. It's not going to be as many read options. Not going to be a lot of layups in the passing game. We've seen it with Justin Herbert. We've seen it with Dak Prescott. Will the trend continue with the Eagles? I wouldn't be surprised. You know, Jason Kelsey retired,
Mm-hmm.
and he carried a wide load of that reading the defense and making adjustments at the line. Jalen Hurts didn't even have to do things a lot of the times because Jason Kelsey would do it for him because he was super veteran. He's seen pretty much everything thrown at him in the league, and he was a very smart player, and he was a Hall of Fame center. Come on now.
You ever
So
seen
now
Any
that
Given Sunday?
exactly.
Yeah, it's literally like Willie Beam and the center was giving. He was like, "Hey, audible, hey, they got this coverage." Like literally, that's what.
Yeah, exactly like that. So now we get to see how Jalen Hurts really is when this is year 5 for Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, he came in the league. Was it same year as 2? I think it was. So it was like 2019, no 2020, excuse me. So yeah, this is
This
5th
is
year in the
year
league.
4. Yeah. So really gonna have to see it. I think he'll be all right. But you know that Kellen Moore system, man, them curl routes. Get ready to learn curl routes, buddy, because that's all you're gonna see on third down, and unless Kellen Moore decide to have a change of heart. But so that was my number 3. Whole NFC East was number 3. 4, I'm gonna go with one you said, the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams. They built a heck of a roster over the past offseason. They got the defense bolstered up over the past 2 seasons. They look formidable on paper. They look very strong. I would hate to be an NFC North fan because you gotta not only got to deal with the Lions, the Packers, and now the Bears trying to be a competitive team now. Godspeed to those fans, but yeah, man, Caleb Williams, I think he'll be phenomenal. I think he'll be a great player. We've seen it on the film. We've seen the numbers. He's done a lot with not the greatest talent at USC, and I think the Bears actually have a plan for him, and that is huge. That is the thing about when you want to start off, get these young QBs, you got to have a plan and a course of action you want to take when it comes to roster building, game plan implementation, and also what team you want to be. And I think the Bears are finally, and Ryan Poles is a big part of that. They're finally getting into being a serious organization when it comes to this number one overall draft pick at QB. And for the fifth team, I could go a few directions. But I'm going to go with the New York Jets because, like you said, they on paper they have a very solid roster, especially on the defensive end. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Not many teams was getting their game off on them last year. The problem is they couldn't win the war of attrition because they were always on the field. Now Aaron Rodgers is coming back, and you got Brees Hall, you got Garrett Wilson, you got, like you said, Malachi Corley, you got a bolstered up offensive line. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is still even 70% of the guy he used to be, we could be looking at some real contention, new contenders coming up in the AFC. But still got to go through the usual suspects. You still got to go through the Ravens, Bills. Now the Texans is coming back up, and obviously Mahomes and company. So yeah, I think the Jets, they've been kind of under the radar as far as offset. I haven't really seen too many NFL media talk about them. They may bring up Aaron Rodgers every now and then when like a workout video drops, like that one video he was in practice in the old field practicing, and he looked fine to me. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Jets for my final one. It's gonna be very interesting to see how they go and how they perform this year.
Good picks overall. I like it. I love it. The Cowboys are always going to be an interesting story. They're the Cowboys. There's always some
for the
sort
wrong
of
reasons.
For the wrong reasons. The whole Dak situation, the whole CD, Micah getting their contract extended. Are they going to get extended? When are they going to get extended? So, that's always going to be something to look out for. You said NFC East, which is true, actually. I mean, every team in the NFC East has something going for them. The Eagles. We already know the Giants with Hard Knocks. We already see that debacle.
Yeah.
And it's easily go with the Commanders as well. They're a new group. And the Commanders, man, like, I'm looking for major changes. I'm not saying, like, hey, they got to go to playoffs. But with the new QB, you sign all these players, new coaching staff, you're in year 2 of ownership. I expect some big things for this organization. You finally got rid of the stench that was surrounding that organization for the very past 25 years. So if you can't finally start seeing some progress, then maybe the organization's just cursed. It don't matter who the ownership is. So
yeah,
that's always going to be something, and they're the hometown team. So I'm always going to be paying attention more to them than majority
we
of
don't really
teams.
have a choice.
Yeah, we really don't have a choice. So it is what it is. I will say Jordan Love, by the way, they're still having contract negotiations. It seems like they're progressing. I saw a report that said they might get something done in the next few days. So that's good for the Packers, man. I just want this contract negotiation stuff to be over with so we can get back to the football and we can look ahead to the future. But yeah, man, I think that'll do it for this conversation. I want to talk about the Olympics. The Olympics starts for majority of the sports Saturday, the 27th. And this is the first year where I will really be watching a lot of other sports besides basketball. In previous years, all I really cared about. Matter of fact, I didn't even really watch the Olympics at all. The last time I really watched basketball from the Olympics was maybe 2016. and I watched like maybe a couple games, but that's about it. 2012, that's when I really was watching all the games. They had the Avengers out there, like, oh my God, that lineup. But this year, I'm really going to be watching a lot of other sports. Like, I'm very intrigued on just the amount of sports, the amount of interesting stuff, like boxing, swimming, gymnastics, judo, like anything with fighting involved into it, I'll be watching. Like it's a lot of interesting stuff, dude. It really is, and I can't wait to watch. I'm very intrigued. Track and field, oh man, I gotta watch
Mm-hmm.
track and field. That is a must. But yeah, like there's just so much. There wrestling, like there's just so much good stuff on the Olympics that I haven't paid attention to because I really didn't care as a kid. But now that I'm older, now that I've watched other sports, I get a different appreciation of all the different sports. And this year I'm definitely gonna pay attention more to what's going on at the Olympics besides basketball. So what about you? How you feel about the Olympics this year?
The Olympics will be very interesting this year. Going to be a non-COVID Olympics. So the last one was in 2020. We all know what went down in 2020. A whole bunch of stuff went down. But this year, though, I am looking forward to obviously basketball, women's and men's basketball. Looking forward to obviously track and field. Come on now, who everyone loves track and field. Hopefully, the USA is taking home the gold
Yeah.
in both men's and women's track and field. Also wanted to catch a little bit of swimming because of mostly women's swimming because of you heard of Katie Ledecky?
Nah.
She is like she's like the woman version of Michael Phelps,
Okay.
but she's
Yeah.
like way better than everybody. I need
All
to
right.
see her live in action because I seen a clip of her and they was doing like was it 800 meters freestyle, and by the time the 400-meter mark came around, she was like 2 laps ahead of everybody. And I was like, what in the world? And so I got to see that live in action. I got to see it in person. There's volleyball, right?
Yeah, it's volleyball.
Yeah. Haikyuu kind of got me into volleyball. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the anime a couple years back, and I've been watching some volleyball games when it's on the TV every now and I'm like, that's not bad. So yeah, that's pretty much all I never really watched Olympic boxing. I might have to check that out. I don't know
I,
who's
ne-
competing, but I like
I never
boxing.
watched
So
it. I never watched it, but you know how like a lot of the great boxers
they start.
have competed in the Olympic
Yeah.
boxing. Like we see Shakur, Floyd Mayweather competed in it. Other boxers competed in it that we know and we love watching. So I just thought, maybe I could check that out.
Yeah, that's about.
So
As
yeah.
far as me, that's pretty much track and field, basketball, volleyball, swimming.
Gymnastics?
Oh yeah, gymnastics. Oh, obviously, got to see Simone Biles. You kidding me?
Yeah.
You kidding me? You got to
Yeah.
see Simone Biles.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, those are the popular ones. I mean, if you want to see soccer, soccer's there too. I'm not really a soccer guy, but if you want to see soccer, then
Team USA soccer stinks. I'm I'm not looking forward to seeing them.
I don't think the men's side is
Oh, they didn't make it.
disqualified. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they fired their coach. So they fired their coach. They fired their coach. I assume that's because they didn't make the qualifying round. So yeah, but the women's side they're normally good. So I assume they probably made it.
They've been on a downtrend recently.
Yeah, you're right about that. But normally they've been pretty good. So I expect to see. I'm not really gonna be watching soccer, but I expect them to at least make it. If not, then it is what it is. Like I'm not really tripping over it. But yeah, I can't wait for these Olympics. It's gonna be a great time to watch the Olympics, to watch sports in general, and I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Let's transition to the final topic. This is interesting. Lomachenko, there was negotiations between Lomachenko and Tank regarding a boxing match. Finally we get Lomachenko versus Tank. It's been close to 10 years that they've been going back and forth on trying to fight one another. But then all of a sudden, as negotiations start, we learn that Lomachenko, he just doesn't feel motivated. He doesn't feel inspired to want to fight right now. We got to wait until the end of the year before he's ready to box again. Okay. Wow. I'll let you go first. How do you feel about the news regarding Lomachenko not wanting to fight Tank as of right now?
I mean, honestly, that wasn't really like a fight I like truly, really, really wanted to see in the first place. So I'm kind of more indifferent on it. I think the reasoning is a little funny. You're not motivated to fight one of the best boxers in the division, probably the best boxer in the division. That's a little interesting. But boxing is boxing at this point. I don't even know what to say. I think it's just kind of funny because what do you mean you're not motivated? And what's going to change at the end of the year? I'm confused. Yeah, I don't know.
He's ducking. He's ducking. This is a duck. He's ducking. What you mean you're not motivated? Now, if he would have came out and said, "Well, my people back home. I think he has people in Ukraine. I think he may be from Ukraine." If he would have said something about that, then I'd be like, "Okay, I get it." But just saying I'm not motivated, I'm not inspired right now. He's ducking. He's ducking Gevonta Davis. That's what it is. Like he's been ducking Gevonta Davis for many, many years now. And then all the people that was like, "Why didn't Gevonta Davis take the deal back in?" I think it was 2017 or something like that. I think Lomachenko and Gevonta Davis possibly could have gotten a match going. Number one, I think Lomachenko even mentioned. I saw a clip where he was talking about, the whole idea of facing Tank, and he pretty much disregarded it. I mean, so like I don't know what people are talking about when they say, "Oh, why didn't you fight him back then?" Because Lomachenko, he didn't feel like Tank was deserving to fight him back then, and Tank was a lot younger. He wasn't as polished as he is now. So why would he take a fight during that time when Tank wasn't even as good as he is now? Like Tank was still working his way up. Tank, bro, this was 2017. Tank was like, what was he, 23, 24 at the time? Like the Tank that
How
we
old
see
is he
now,
now?
he's like 29.
Yeah,
like he
he's
was
like maybe 22.
like Tank back then. He was just a power hitter. Like he'll knock you out. That's it. He wasn't very polished back then. So why would he take a fight like that when he wasn't even remotely on a level that he is now? Like now, okay, I see it because he's polished. He's a lot more skilled. But back then, no. Why would he even do that? And for people to just say he's been ducking him for 10 years, that is cap. Like that is complete cap. And for people to constantly spin this narrative is egregious because you could say the same thing for Lomachenko. He's been ducking a lot of people. And when he faces great competition, I've seen people online say that he's been getting his butt whooped too. When he faces great competition, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, he lost. Well, that can you can go either way with that, but he still lost. He still lost at the end of the day. Yeah, you can say he got robbed all you want, but he still got touched. In that boxing match, he got touched. So, hey, he lost to Teofimo. He lost to Devin Haney. He got touched. I don't know what people want to say about Lomachenko other than he's been getting touched a lot from a lot of great competition, and he's been ducking Gevonta Davis. Gevonta Davis hasn't been ducking Lomachenko. Lomachenko's been ducking Gevonta Davis. So for people to spin this narrative, it's ridiculous. All I know is that I saw Gevonta Davis trainer. I saw something on Twitter where he's like, "Hey, let's get this match, Gevonta Davis versus Shakur. Let's get it popping. Let's do it." So if Lomachenko, if he withdraw from wanting to fight Tank and we get Shakur versus Gevonta, I'm happy. Like I want to see that more than a lesser version of Lomachenko, even though Lomachenko, he is holding a belt right now in the same division. But so is Shakur. And I want to see this fight more than Lomachenko because Shakur and Gevonta Davis, they have history together. And Shakur, he wants to fight the best. Now, I want to see it. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing him against the other guy that Shakur called out. But this is the fight everybody wants to see because both of them, Shakur's been talking, Gevonta Davis been talking. We want to see this fight. And if we can get this fight, I'm happy. Everybody's happy. And we could finally put this to bed. Who's the better fighter? Shakur can finally put to bed. I'm better than Gevonta Davis. I lost to the better man. Like, we can finally put this stuff to bed now. So, hopefully, Lomachenko withdrawing means that we're finally going to get the fight that we want. Shakur is finally going to get that pay-per-view fight that he wants. You know, you're not signed to nobody, so you're free to do whatever you want to do, and that's that.
What was that tweet you sent in a group chat where it says the WBC said who has to fight somebody?
So they were talking about it was the guy that Shakur called out, Zapita, I think that's his name is.
Yeah.
He has to fight him. And now there is, I don't know all the politics of boxing, but if Shakur were to fight Gevonta Davis, I mean, they could possibly try to manipulate it into where Shakur fights Gevonta Davis instead of Zapita, because I think, Gevonta Davis, he holds a belt, so maybe they can manipulate it that way. It'll be a championship fight. Belts are on the line, so maybe they can manipulate it that way. But yeah, there was a tweet talking about the WBC interfering and saying, "Hey, y'all got to. It's a mandatory. Y'all got to fight." So I don't know all the politics of boxing, but hopefully, if Shakur and Gevonta Davis really want to do this, they can bypass that. And the WBC was like, all right, we'll let you guys.
I don't think the WBC is going to be upset with more money.
Yeah, I would assume. So I just want this fight to happen. That's all I care about. This is the number one fight that I want to see because they've both been talking. I'm just tired of Shakur always running his mouth. I want to see him back it up. Pause. I want to see him. I want to see him finally fight a really good boxer. And Gevonta Davis is that test. And he wants to be tested. He's calling out all these boxers, but these promoters, these boxers don't want to fight him. Well, can we finally get something? And hopefully this is the answer. And yeah, that is all. That is all.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we haven't talked about yet? I feel like we're missing something.
Unless you wanted to touch on WNBA, I don't think that's anything. There's anything else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I didn't watch this, but I heard that the WNBA All-Star team defeated the women's
Team USA.
Team USA basketball team. What the hell was that about?
For the first time ever.
Yeah, what the hell was that about? I mean,
well, the truth is probably the youth. Caitlin Clark, I think she set the record for most assists by a rookie in an All-Star game, or maybe assist in an All-Star game in general. Angel Reese obviously was doing her thing. Enrique, she went off for like 20 in the second half of the game. And this just goes to show you how much more talented the WNBA is nowadays. Obviously back in the previous years, it would always be Team USA always had the very best players in the league on, and no one was beating them. But now, like, there's a lot. The talent floor is risen dramatically, in the WNBA. So I'm not surprised the WNBA's All-Star team beat the Team USA. I'm honestly not surprised.
Really, I mean, they got Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart. They got some people on there. Kelsey Plum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got what's her name? Chelsea Gray. Like they got some women on there.
Definitely,
some of the best.
Look at the All-Star team for the WNBA. They ain't no slouch either.
I know they good, but man, these are some really, really good man. Like, oh my God. All right, but I was completely shocked, you know, Diana Taurasi, you know, back, you know, when Caitlin Clark got drafted, and even before then when we saw her in the championship game, you know, she was talking and everything like that, like, oh, it's not gonna be sweet up in here. All right, whatever. And then, you know, her team loses. It's just bittersweet.
Right.
It's just bittersweet. I think that'll do it on this episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, hit the notification bell, follow the socials as well, and we will see you all on the next episode of the Courtside View Podcast. Thank you all for watching, and peace.
Salute.
Just let me be me.